Okay, here we go. Unit 5, Classical Civilizations, Greece. Just a quick overview, quick rundown, introductory information about how the geography impacts the civilizations in Greece. So in this first map, you get a picture of where we are in the world, where we are in the Eastern Hemisphere. The area in red is basically zoomed in on where Greece is. So you can see from this map, we're kind of almost in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. We're kind of close to the Middle East region that we looked at earlier in the year. We're just going to go a little bit further west from that Middle East region. So when we zoom in on Greece, geographically speaking, we're looking at what's called a peninsula. We talked about this earlier in the year. A peninsula is a landmass with three bodies of water surrounding it. Greece is also what's known as an archipelago. An archipelago is just a string or chain of islands. So you can see the mainland area itself in orange is a peninsula, and then all the tiny little islands around it also makes up Greece. What this does for Greece is it makes it kind of isolated both from other places, other civilizations, and within itself. So the civilizations within Greece, we look at them as these independent city-states. Now, we talked about city-states earlier in the year when we looked at Mesopotamia. So the city-state, again, is that setup where the city is pretty much like its own country. And that's going to be true in Greece as well. So each city-state has its own culture, its own identity, and the geography of Greece kind of keeps each city-state isolated so that you get these independent cultures and civilizations kind of emerging. So the city-state of Athens and the city-state of Sparta, each citizen of those city-states would identify as an Athenian or as a Spartan, and not so much as a Greek. When it comes to geography, looking at the bodies of water, we said Greece is located in the Mediterranean Sea. And then if you zoom in on that peninsula and the archipelago, to the west, we have the Ionian Sea. And then to the east, you have the Aegean Sea. Now, because Greece is located in these bodies of water, geographically speaking, how does that impact the civilization? Well, these people are going to rely predominantly on the sea and the water itself for fishing. They're going to use it for trade. So if you're going to live in this sort of peninsula archipelago amongst these bodies of water sort of settings, you better be pretty good at trade. You better be good at sailing these seas. So the Greeks are going to be expert sailors just because the geography is kind of demanding it. If they weren't able to get off those islands or get out about in the Mediterranean, they wouldn't be getting a lot of access to the resources that they need. So speaking of resources, the natural resources located in Greece are fairly limited. The terrain itself is pretty rugged. It's pretty mountainous. There's a lot of hills. There is some fertile land for farming, but it's pretty scarce. So they can grow some stuff, but not all of the stuff. It's not like what we saw with Mesopotamia or other civilizations like the Indus Valley that are relying on those river systems. There are rivers and some streams and stuff in Greece, but not to the extent that we saw in the other ancient civilizations. So again, the Greeks are going to rely heavily on trading for the resources that they can't produce in their own region, their own territories. Some things that they are good at growing are olives. It's a staple crop. It's a staple food. The climate is very suitable for it, this Mediterranean climate. It's really conducive for growing these types of crops. And it's a really hot trade commodity. So other civilizations that come into Greece are looking for olives because they can't grow it due to their lack of soil and seasons. They don't have access to these resources. They don't have access to the climate to grow these sort of things. Here's the elevation map of Greece. You can see the areas in red represent mountains and the greens are your more low-level areas. So you can see, like within those valleys, you see a lot of the civilizations, a lot of the city-states. Those are going to be the more predominant areas for farming. The mountains, you can do some farming in the mountains, but for the most part, not so much. Again, back to the climate. Here's some pictures that kind of give you an idea of what it looks like in Greece. The Mediterranean climate, it's mild temperatures, lots of sunshine, Limited rainfall. You do get different seasons, but they're not like what we have in central New York. Um, in the winter months, the mountains, some of them will have snow caps, and then your lower elevations, that snow will pretty much turn to rain. The Mediterranean Sea also influences the climate. In the summertime, you get this cool air off of the sea, which kind of makes it more enjoyable, not so humid and hot. And then in the wintertime, the Mediterranean provides a more warm air. Um, so, you get a wide range of different types of landscapes. If you're down by the ocean, you get sort of that sort of nice, like, beach climate. It's a very great vacation destination. If you ever go to the Mediterranean, it's awesome. But then if you go further inland, you get some more dry areas, as you can see, and some of that more rugged mountainous terrain. So this is just an overview of geography. If you're looking to look at some other information kind of related to what we talked about, different videos, different approaches, different visuals, there's some links over there on the right-hand side you should definitely check out. They're just a couple minutes long each, and just a good way to reinforce some of those key geographical related concepts and terms related to Greece.